One of the centres housing displaced residents. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi is there for us. Linda, very good afternoon to you. As we try and get more and more information out of how devastating this has been on people's lives, there's always a lot more to encounter as you interact with people on the ground. What are you seeing?
Well, there's a lot of devastation in and around, the eThekwini region. As you drive around, there is no point where you don't come across either a broken, infrastructure, a broken bridge, or even homes that have been swept away, and seeing people that are picking up the pieces. But right now, you'll remember that there are quite a number of people that have since been placed in, community centers, in local churches, as well as in schools. And those people are basically, waiting for government to then make sure that they are placed in new homes, in either new homes or whatever the plan is for government. Like you mentioned, I'm at a school right now in Bhekisisa. This is in Tuzuma, where a group of people who are since displaced were placed here in the school. I want to take you inside, in fact, to give you a sense of their living conditions. And you can tell, as the province braces itself for another round of rain, there are quite a number of people that since have to make sure that they are quite warm. So they've basically set up, stations here for food, as you can imagine, because of the floods and how they've impacted on people's livelihoods. There is a need for food. So there is, what we're seeing here is there is some sort of food that the residents have since been getting. And from what I understand, many of the people that are here come from Ntuzuma Extension. They lost their homes in that particular floods, but you also see the mattresses as well as the blankets, which are quite important. I mean, if you think about how cold it is getting here, given the fact that the South African Weather Service has issued a warning that there will be another round of rain today and tomorrow. I just want to bring in one of the ladies who will give us a sense of where she comes from and how these floods have affected her. Ngibonga isikhathi sakho ma. Ngicela ungichazele mhlawumbe ukuthi elakhe ikhaya uliluse kanjani?
Ngiyabingelela kakhulu. Elami ikhaya kubhilike udonga neconcrete, yakubhidlikela odongeni kwakhekha indlu, kwagcwala amanzi endlini nasemagcekeni akwazi ukuhamba. Kungeva ukuthi mina ngedwa. Sonke nje asilana nje silele la singomakhelwane, abanye abanazo ingubo zokugqoka, abaphelele lana. Ngisho nengubo zokulala, ngisho banengane ezincane abazi bazokwenza njani.
La wena bohlala khona mabohlala nobani beningakhe endlini?
Thina sihlala nomndeni ubaba nabantwana.
So nonke senela.
Sonke sesilana, kuthiwa abantu asihlukane obaba babodwa nathi nabantwana sizodwa, ngoba manje ubonakala ukuthi ikhansela melifika la lachaza ukuthi asisuke laphana ngoba izindlu seziyakhekha, ekubeni kunodaka emva kwezindlu. Umuthi uyalibheka udaka liyanyakaza, usho ukuthi kuhamba kwesikhathi nendlu izosuka ihambe. Sonke singomakhelane nomakhelane onke abangezansi, sonke njena silana nje sonke.
Ukuphatha kanjani ukuthi ulahlekelwe ikhaya lakho?
Kubhlungu ukusuka ekhayeni lakho, ungalala ekhayeni lakho, uzolala lana. Kubhlungu, kodwa okubhlungu kakhulu ke umakhelana wethu osezansi okuyena ovesane washona nabantwana, bagqibeka njena bangatholakala. Kubhlungu kakhulu. Thina kubhlungu wanaku siyaphila nabantwana, kodwa kubhlungu kakhulu kulabo abahanjelwe umndeni emithathu, umama nezingane. Ngoba sasikhona nje yonke lemvula inetha sihlele emgaqweni kumbiwa, sitshela ukuthi uzolekevela kwaze kwasa sihlele emgaqweni kwazobe ngakusasa sihleli. Kubhlungu. Yebo, kubhlungu.
The lady that you're seeing on your screen right now explaining to us how she came to lose her house, saying that in fact the wall fell onto her house, which which made the house basically cracked, and the water just came flooding into her house. And she was told by the ward councillor that it wouldn't be safe for her and her children and her husband to continue living in that home. She says it's quite difficult, it's painful having to leave her home and coming to stay here. They've since been separated, where women stay in one room and the men stay in the other. But she says, while she's grateful for life, her neighbor, one of her neighbors, did not make it with her children. They were all buried in that mudslide that happened in their area. I just want to bring in another one to get a sense then, Mpho, of how things have been living here. Ngibonge isikhathi sakho nawe. Ngicela ungichazele ukuthi mhlambe njengoba senihlala la impilo zenu zishintshe kanjani?
Zishintshe kakhulu impilo zethu, zibuhlungu, asinalutho. Sishiyeke singanalutho, izindlu zethu zibhidlikile. Nathi emndenini sanjelwa abantu abawu-3, ugogo bengumnakwethu, bezingane abazukulu bakhe abawu-2. Oyedwa wasinda ngenhlahla kodwa usesimeni esinzima.
Bashone kanjani, kwenzakaleni?
Ugogo nabazukulu abawu-2 baqedwa inhlabathi kwadilika udonga. Babatholile kodwa bekunzima, kuzokwasiza umphakathi kwawona ophumayo singalitholi usizo. Kwawayithathela wona umuntu nomuntu ebefika azolekelela. Lokho kumbiwa kwagcinwa ngamandla kaNkulunkulu setholakala. Nomakhelwane abanalutho, nami anginalutho, ngihleli la esikolweni. Sonke lesimhlaba.
Manje amalungiselelo ke awomngcwabo niwayenza kanjani njengoba senihleli la?
Asinawo amandla nje basihleli la, sisalindile lokho sixhaswa ngakho, basoxhaswa ngakho.
Kubuhlungu.
Hayi kubuhlungu kakhulu. Kwaya mosocabanga mhlawumbe sekufika lola suku lola kwakwenza ngaso isigameko, uba nokuthuka nje okuthile. Bengathi mhlawumbe kukhona into ekhala ethi gqu eguzulayo. Kube nobuhlungu obukhulu, subuka impahla zakhona seyintanti eminyango. Akukho noma ungathi uyayicosha, uyayiwasha, ngeze ziwasheke nathi ezindlini zethu nabanye omakhelwane bethu abanalutho, basheke benganalutho, ngisho lengane ezifunda izikole azinalutho.
Mpho, this lady is telling us, in fact, that in her situation, she lost 3 family members, a grandmother and 2 children in that home who were swept away in those floods. She says that, the community, luckily, the community did come and help and try, to look for them and dig through the mud for hours and hours, and ultimately they were found. She says it's quite painful. At the moment, she's sitting here and they're waiting really for any kind of help for them to be able to bury their loved ones. But at the moment, it's a waiting game, Paul. They wait in this particular school where they wait for any kind of assistance. She even says that thinking about it brings back all the traumatic experiences that she had from that. She can even hear the sounds of a wall falling, which gives you a sense of, the extent of the trauma that the people who find themselves in these centers, have gone through. It's not just people that have just lost a house and have been placed. These are real human beings. This is you and I, Mpho, who have suffered immense trauma and now having to come and wait in these centers where they don't know when they will get that kind of help. But we do know that, of course, they have since been promised by the provincial government that there will be some kind of help.
Very well, Linda. Let's leave it there for now. Really, really heart-wrenching to hear somebody say, we have nothing. And, of course, South Africa knows you have nothing, looking at the devastation of the images that we've seen throughout the course of this week.